Hi, today we're talking about when you can't remember your childhood. And this is part of a series for complex trauma and anxiety recovery. And this is a complicated challenge that is common with people with complex PTSD, high ACEs scores, right? Adverse childhood experiences score. I don't know what that word, the last letter of ACEs stand for, screening, whatever. Um, but when you have multiple childhood traumas in your childhood, this is one of the results. There's a couple of other setups. I'm going to make videos about those in the future. Those will be probably my next two videos. When people say these things to me in sessions, especially in the intake session, I am listening. I am hearing things. I'm going to talk to you today about what I'm hearing, what's going on, how to treat this, how I resolve this, um, and what to look out for. So I'm Rachel McLeod. I'm a mental health therapist, emotional wellness coach, and therapist mentor. And I specialize in helping people do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. And the brain has a beautiful process for resolving all of this. That process can get blocked and stopped and impaired. And so when we can get that up and running again, the brain will resolve these issues as well. And then we're going to talk about what that looks like as far as remembering childhood experiences. And so that's what brings us here. That's where we're at. Okay, so let me tell you that when people say that they can't remember their childhood, or they can't remember chunks and blocks of their childhood or aspects of their childhood, this is very concerning to me. And it's going to determine how we do treatment, how we resolve these things. And basically, at the foundation of all of this stuff, what they've just said to me was that things happened in their childhood that their system was not able to process nor cope with. And so their system, in its brilliance, blocked it out. We need to survive here. So, in order to do that, we've got to block this thing entirely out, go, and so their system started running blocking features and blocking processes. And so that trauma, those traumas that they could not deal with, are buried. um, that's what I heard. What I also heard was that what happened, how this stuff, how brains do this, is that when there's enough cortisol and adrenaline moving through the system at any given time, the brain will stop recording memories, what we call explicitly, which also means, like, for us, it means that we can recall the details, where we were at, those sorts of things about the memory, who was there, those sorts of things. But instead, it starts storing the memory implicitly, which means that all of the energy is in there, all the emotions are in there, all the data is in there, but it's not put together and constructed in a way that we're going to be able to recall it. So that stuff is usually found in the body, and we'll find those with sensations. We'll find those are memories. Those are memories that have been blocked, but they're showing up in your gut, or they're making your heart race, or they're making tension in your shoulders or your back, or headaches, migraines, these types of things. That is actually the memory. And so when I'm working with people, I know that their somatic distress is memories, and I want you to understand that as well. Um, there there are therapists that try to, when they're doing somatic sensing, um, some body sensing. It's a strategy. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. But they really try to change and move around and play with the sensation. Let's move it, see if we can move it from here to there. No, this is a memory. This, we don't want to treat this like it's invaluable. This is precious data and information that is stored right there, wherever it's stored, because of the body's wisdom and the mind's wisdom. This is where it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be. This is the form it's supposed to be in right now. And we actually don't want to change that. We want to support the brain to finally be able to process this memory. Right. And so we want to respect and honor what's going on in the body, because it is the body, the mind body systems, that person's mind body systems best effort and brilliant effort, one, at survival, and two, at dealing with this thing that can't be dealt with. And we don't want to mess with that. We want to honor that, and we want to work with that. And there's a way to help this happen really beautifully. Now, we don't really want to go and shake this stuff up, because the system already said it can't deal. And so if we go and shake this up, we could really cause that person to go into a very unstable, distress state, oftentimes can lead to suicidal ideations, attempts, and all sorts self-sabotage spirals, drug use, all sorts of things. This is not something as um, I'm kind of cautioning therapists at the moment, but I want you, if you can't remember your childhood trauma as well, I want to caution you. We don't just want to go in there like gangbusters and break this thing open and crack that nut open, and we could really harm somebody. That's why EMDR is not the best fit for somebody who can't remember their childhood, right? That's how we can cause that harm, because EMDR is the brain's like, I want in there. Part of the brain is like, give it to me. You're not ready for that. And we need to build some things. Okay, we need to build some things before we go and let you run loose on the processing. Okay, because all parts of you need to be able to tolerate the trauma processing, not just your thinking center. It can take all this stuff. It doesn't care. It wants it. As a matter of fact, our job is to actually get this trauma into that part of your brain. It's like we want to go in there, scoop it up, and put it in there. We're not going to do that. Your body is going to do that because that's what it's supposed to be doing. And we don't want to lead it to do that before the right timing. Okay. I'm getting some signals over here that I need to take some action on Facebook land. So if the view isn't going well, if you could just let me know, that would be great. And then I'll just keep over here talking about this. Or this, it's saying the speed isn't right. But okay, so I want you to understand here that those memories your system couldn't cope with, and they probably can't cope with it now either. Okay, so we're not going to go do that. If you could deal with it, your system would already be trying to pull it up. Okay, now if you're having nightmares, if you're having repetitive fights with your partner, if you're having repetitive alcohol use right now, your system might actually be trying to process this unresolvable memory, right? Those nightmares are, that's when your brain's in there trying to work on it. Like, don't disturb them. We'll just see if we can get in there and heal it. We can't, so now we're gonna wake up with nightmares, right? No, so what those are signs that this stuff is ready to move, and so we wanna get healing. Okay, and what we really want to do is do the work of preparing the brain to heal the work. It's got to heal this stuff. We don't think it through and solve the problem. That only helps one part of our brain. We actually have to do the mind body work of healing these unhealable to this moment memories. Okay, and so it's almost like we're not even going to do the memory yet. We're actually going to build the platform that we're going to put the memory on. We're going to clear the area around the memory. We're going to build the skills and the tools needed, and we're going to get everything lined up and everybody practiced and rehearsed. And this doesn't have to take a long time, but there are checkpoints that one needs to be able to do to be able to say, okay, let's bring it on. As a matter of fact, I don't even go try to bring it on. Okay, all I know is that when we get cooking over here and we're building this platform, your brain is back there like, okay, is it time? No, okay, it's not time. Okay, but as we're building this thing and we're proving to your brain that we can process big things, and we're proving over and over again, we're building this, and they're like, ooh, well, they really took that thing apart and put it away and resolved that nicely. Oh, interesting. If we keep doing that, your brain's going to say, oh, okay, well, we really need to resolve this issue because it's going to help us overcome that and that. They're getting skills. Okay, well, maybe we'll just bring it up here. Okay, no, we'll put it back, right? That might show up in your nightmares. It might show up there flashbacks, right? It might show up in your body. You'll have this weird, mysterious sensation in your stomach or your throat that you're like, why does this keep here? That's these memories. Okay, so, but pretty soon, it'll be the thing in front of you right now. And we're going to rock. We're going to show your brain we got your support. We know how to do this. This is our protocol. This is what we're doing. And we're processing the mess out of it. And we're going to have success. And if we don't, we're going to pause. We're going to say, okay, we have reached our maximum success level, and we don't have any more. So we're going to put this back. We have skills for that. It's part of us proving to your brain that it's time we can do this. If it thinks it's going to bring something up and destroy you, it's not going to. Your survival system is not going to allow that, and it knows. So a lot of the work we're doing is to prove to your survival system that it's safe to process this. And that we're doing by having lots of success with other smaller things. Okay? And when we get that first one resolved, then your brain is like, "Oh, that was awesome." And really at that point I really stop. I try to pause all of the other unresolved things, because when one of these unresolved memories gets processed, it gets to the top of the brain and starts resolving, so many things are going to heal and fall into place for you. There's going to be so many epiphanies, so much insight, so much clarity. And we just want to let that happen because it's going to sink in and create foundational changes that are only going to build your capacity for healing. Also, during this time, aspects of these other issues are going to start resolving. And so during this phase of treatment, I try to send people off on smaller healing journeys, because by this time they're like, what else? What else can I process? And we're like, okay, let's play with this non gonna make you fall into the abyss stuff, the easy stuff. Let's stay out here, right? And so we're just letting that stuff reorganize. And then pretty soon the brain's going to be like, knock that off. We got this other one. This is the priority. And it will bring the next one and sit it right here in your hands. You're now like valued as this amazing self healer, right? The healer. They want to give this to you. And you're going to be like, yes, give it to me. I got this. And you're going to work on processing it. And when it gets too much, you're going to set it back. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to need you to hold this, and then you're going to bring it back up, and we're going to whatever until it gets resolved. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hold some space for this deep reorganization to take place. Throughout this process, our main goal is to keep you stable and safe and well. We have deep healing to do with complex PTSD. We have emotional wound healing, and we also have wellness building. We need to give your system the experiences it needs to be able to heal, create new thriving functions, to even consider that thriving, it could be an option now, right? That's really what we're doing. And so there's a lot of this back and forth that happens that actually is pretty quick and pretty powerful. But I want to get back onto when you can't remember your memories. So I want you to remember and know this, that the memories are still there. Just because you cannot access them in explicitly, you can't pull them up like you could with your high school graduation. Maybe you can't even remember that, or your college graduation, or your first kiss, or you can't really pull those things up like that. They're still in there. And so when people say, "Oh, I've already overcome that," well, I'd rather your body decide that for us. Some of this anxiety that you're experiencing probably is connected with some unresolved issue in there. It just because you can't find it doesn't mean it's not causing you current life challenges. It's not that just because you can't find it doesn't mean that it's not blocking you right now. All that unresolved material is like eating a big hamburger and your stomach's like, well, I can't process. Let me just shove it over in the corner. It's going to ferment. It's going to rot. It's going to cause different chemical changes within your body. It's going to cause disease. These traumas are the same way. They must be digested. They must be processed. And remember, this part of your brain, the upper parts, love that stuff. Our pain neurons don't like this stuff, and that's why we have to be very gentle with it, to really out of respect for the pain neurons and the survival system. And we can help those parts of us really get the support they need to allow healing to happen, which is what we're doing. So the memories are still there. They are still causing challenges. There will come a point where we don't have to resolve every single one of them. You'll have resolved enough of them that you're starting to create beautiful wellness, beautiful function, and that's uploading in all these areas of your life. And so, excuse me. So it's really about function. And when your system needs something processed, it's going to bring it to you. That's why it's so important. I believe it's so important for people to have their own skills with this, because our brain is going to continually reach to our past to understand our future. We don't, especially when we have histories of complex PTSD and early relationship trauma, there's stuff that's going to need to come through in 10 years from now. in 20 years from now. And yeah, you can go to a professional every time. That's fine. But you're going to be the first one to know about it. So you can have the skills to receive this and really process, and support your system. That helps you be in a really beautiful relationship with your nervous system, with your inner world, and you become a very valued player. And this impacts your self esteem and your self confidence more than just affirmations, right? This is proven experience trust. This is, they've got us. That's an entire different type of security and wellness that I want you to have, right? This is why I'm handing people tools. This is why I've created a process to walk people through the exercises to doing their brain work. Is that, yes, you can see a therapist, a coach, do it. It's great to get as much support as you want and need. If you have a history of complex PTSD, high ACEs scores, that you probably didn't have enough support in childhood, get it now. It's part of the healing. And I want you to be skilled so that you can be a great teammate to yourself, and you can be sitting right in the center of the self leadership position, right? So, also, some things about this is we actually don't know the massiveness or the type of trauma that that is that shut down your memory. Uh, what we know is that your system couldn't cope with it, right? So it doesn't. We don't need to judge. It doesn't mean that there was um, some of the big T traumas. I'd like to not trigger people. It could be very small things. I remember a client going into a massive dissociated state because somebody saw her belly, and they had body shame already. It was just enough stuff that it broke it, right? It was just a small thing that just did it. And there was a lot of other work we needed to do, healing there up to that moment, right? Some of these repressed memories are relational. They're betrayal, rejection, they're being discarded, dismissed, shamed, bullied. Some of them are actual catastrophes, illness, loss. Um, we don't really know what they are. But the other fabulous thing here is that we don't need to know. It's not our job to know all of it. Knowing doesn't do the healing work. What does the healing work is getting the memory in whatever form it's in now. It might just be in the stomach, right? In the form of that stomach sensation. That might be the memory. We just need to get that process. We don't need to wait till we understand it to help our body process it. The body is designed to send this data up in the body's language. Then it's supposed to go up into the prefrontal cortex and all these other things in here. And there's translators that they translate body information into words, epiphanies, thoughts, solutions. That's really where we want to catch this stuff at. Yeah, translate that for me and hand me my solutions, right? We don't want to do that work here. It hasn't made it to the translators yet. What are we doing? Right? We're going to translate it before we get it translated. We don't work like that. And so what we can know is, oh, there's something big moving. I might suspect what it is. We can do that. I might sense what it is, but it hasn't been translated yet. So we don't want to make a bunch of stories out of it, which our brain loves to do. Just give us a little bit of information and off our brains run to tell all the stories, right? Fabulous, entertaining, write books about it, walk us through all the options. But to heal, we just need to get this thing up there, and then we'll actually know exactly what it means, and they will tell us exactly what it means. We'll be like, oh, epiphanies, right? Insights, all that stuff. That's where we want to catch this. So we don't want to spend too much time talking about the stomach sensations and all the things that happen to us. And as a matter of fact, when I'm working with people, I don't let them talk about all this stuff because one, it limits the body from processing, but two, you could shake up stuff back there that you're not ready to process. No, no. I've already done that with two people. One went to inpatient rehab, inpatient rehab, inpatient psych stuff for a while. That was scary. And I don't need to repeat that. And the other one spent 6 weeks dissociated, and we couldn't do any trauma work. We had to do restabilizing work. No, that was a huge setback, right? It was a great learning opportunity for me. Thank you, clients. But we don't go back there and do this anymore. We heal as stable as we possibly can. It's gentle. Pain shuts this whole process down. How painless can we make this? Can we even make this fun? Yes, I can. You can. We can make this. We can come at this in such a way that we're being gentle and respectful, and we're honoring. We're working synergistically with the inner world. We're not just going in there. I want to heal so bad. Give me that. Now you've brought it up and you're toughing it through and you're pushing through and you're pissing off your survival system. And that you don't beat that part of the brain. That part of the brain can put you in all kinds of headlocks and then you're stuck. So we treat this with great care. This heals beautifully. Sometimes people get access to the memories and in conscious, explicit form, so that they'll actually know what happened. And sometimes they don't, but they just feel that peace about it and they're getting the growth that they need. So this is really powerful work. It's very sacred work. It just requires so much. I think it requires so much safety and support and gentleness and strategy. So thoughts from Rachel on that. So I am going to read a comment somebody had and answer that question. I also want to invite you to take a journey with me on working with your brain very differently. I have a free program where I teach people my favorite interventions for this work. And you can try these interventions and see if they support your brain to really do some processing, right? In the easy stuff, please stay out of your blocked memories. I'm going to assure you, you don't have the skills for that as a professional who does this work. Uh, uh, yeah. So, but you can play with the stuff that's in your face right now, the stuff that is not blocked, all the anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress that's not blocked from you. Play with that with these interventions. Support your brain to heal them and see what happens. So I offer these to you. These are the same ones I use with my clients, with myself. And they're powerful, and you get results in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it's like instant gratification. It's not like, I wonder if this is working, right? So I invite you to come play with me in these interventions, and if you like them, you may be interested in my 8-week program to walk through healing and resolving these issues, and you may really find yourself building the skills to really resolve those blocked memories. And if you get all this stuff healed and you want more support, you can get a professional on your team, right? Or you can walk with one during the same time. And if you want me to walk you through this personally, look at my website. I have an option for that. I would love to jump in here with you and help you heal, okay? And restore all this function and wellness, and I love it. Anyway, that's my invitation to you. I want to read this here. Chastity says, do you think childhood trauma can develop into an autoimmune disease as an adult? Yes, I do. I do. And there's lots of research that shows that trauma is the root cause of these things. And that's why we really need to prioritize healing these. There's a lot in our culture that says, don't do it. It's not important. Gosh, you're just being a baby. Suck it up. Or if you can't remember, it doesn't matter. That's not true to the body. We have to get the trauma out of the body. Remember, the body keeps the score. That's real. That's such a great book, and it's such a great title. I wish I had thought of that title, because it's so true. And it's just like I said earlier, if you eat the hamburger and don't digest it, you're going to have physical problems. The same is true with our experiences. If we cannot digest the experiences, we're going to have physical problems, mental problems, emotional problems, and relational problems. That's how this works. And so, yes, I absolutely think that. And as a matter of fact, I would suggest people with autoimmune disorders and any other diseases really do their trauma work. So, and not their trauma work, but, oh, well, I didn't really have any traumatic experiences. I understand that. Trauma work also includes anything that your system felt was traumatic. And it might not be traumatic to any other person on the earth, but your system. And so it was just right for you. It was just the right nick that turned into a big thing. Honor that. Do your work and heal, because your body needs your emotional wellness. It knows it, and it preoccupies on it. It focuses on it and hyperfixates on it because of how important the emotional wellness is. Your emotional intelligence is part of how you create a life of connection, fulfillment, satisfaction, joy, bliss, expansion, and health. And so this is fundamental to any goal we have. So yes, do it. Do it till your brain is satisfied. Okay. All right. Wonderful connecting with you all. Take care. Bye.